For most people over 60, the morning is the hardest hour. Not because something bad happens, because nothing happens at all. The house is quiet, there is no one expecting you anywhere, and the day ahead feels like something to get through rather than something worth starting. Over 40% of adults over 60 feel this way on a regular basis. Most of them feel it hardest before 9 a.m., and almost none of them have been told that what happens in the first hour of the morning has more influence over how lonely the rest of the day feels than almost anything else. Eleanor found that out the hard way. She is 74. A retired school librarian. She has lived in the same house for 35 years, and she has been trying to figure out the mornings for the past 2 since she lost Bob. Bob made the coffee every morning for 42 years without being asked. She never made it once. One Thursday in March, nothing particular about that Thursday, she walked into the kitchen and sat down in his chair by accident. She did not notice until she looked up and saw her own chair empty across from her. She did not get up for almost 2 hours. That was her lowest morning. What changed everything was not one dramatic decision, it was 5 small things she started doing before 9 a.m. This video is those 5 things, each one backed by research on loneliness and well-being in older adults, and each one something you can start tomorrow morning. Habit 1. Walk to the end of the driveway. Eleanor's daughter called in April and said, "Mom, you need to get outside." Eleanor put on her coat and walked to the end of the driveway. Then she came back inside. That was the walk. She did the same thing the next morning, and the one after. By week 3, she was walking to the corner. By the end of the month, she had started nodding to the man who walks his Beagle past at 8 a.m. She does not know his name. He waves back now without her having to wave first. 10 minutes of gentle movement each morning releases endorphins that reduce feelings of sadness and depression in seniors. But research consistently shows the size of the movement matters far less than the consistency of it. Moving a little every day beats moving a lot once a week. The end of the driveway counts. Start there. Habit 2. Sit near the light. Eleanor did not want to sit at the kitchen table anymore. Too many mornings staring at an empty chair. She pulled one of the chairs to the window instead. She sits there now with her coffee, the coffee she had to figure out how to make herself, for 10 minutes every morning before she does anything else. She looks at the garden Bob used to look after. She is learning the names of the plants slowly. She does not rush. Morning light exposure supports serotonin production and directly reduces the flat, heavy feeling that loneliness leaves behind. And research on healthy daily routines for seniors consistently lists it among the most effective and lowest effort mood interventions available. Open the curtain, pull the chair close, let the light land on your face before the day asks anything of you. 10 minutes, that is all it costs. Habit 3. Send the message you keep not sending. Eleanor and her sister Carol had grown distant in the years of Bob's illness, almost 4 years of distance. Neither of them had known how to cross it. On a Wednesday morning in February, after writing in her journal, Eleanor picked up her phone and typed 3 words, "Thinking of you." She pressed send before she could talk herself out of it. Carol replied in 47 seconds. They now have a standing call every Tuesday at 10 a.m. Eleanor sets a reminder for it the same way she used to set reminders for Bob's medications. Building one small social touchpoint into each morning, rather than waiting for occasional big visits, keeps connections steady and reliable in a way that larger, irregular contact never quite manages. You do not need a long conversation. You need a real one, and it starts with one message sent before 9 a.m. to someone who would want to hear from you. You know who that person is. Habit 4. The Sunflower Journal. Eleanor bought it at a pharmacy in February. She thought it was a ridiculous thing for a 74-year-old widow to buy. She bought it anyway because she had run out of other ideas. Every morning, before her coffee, before her phone, before anything, she writes down one thing she is looking forward to today. Just one. Sometimes it is small. The bread she wants to try baking, the program she recorded and saved, the Tuesday call with Carol at 10 a.m. Sometimes what she writes surprises her. Sometimes it is about Bob. Sometimes it is about who she is becoming without him. She writes it anyway. Then she closes the journal. Here is what this does that nothing else on this list does. Loneliness is at its worst when the day has no direction, when nothing is coming, when 1 hour looks exactly like the one before it and the one after. Morning routines that include one intentional act of forward focus create a sense of predictability that research identifies as one of the most calming and grounding experiences available to seniors dealing with isolation. One thing, written down before 9 a.m., that is what gives the day a direction. Eleanor said this was the habit that changed the mornings more than any other, not because what she wrote was important, because the act of writing it told her brain, today is worth starting. Habit 5. 1 honest minute with yourself. This is the shortest habit, 60 seconds, no journal needed, no phone, nothing to open or turn on. Before you move into the day, sit still for 1 minute and ask yourself one question. How do I actually feel this morning? Not fine, not okay, the real answer. Lonely, tired, worried, lighter than yesterday, grateful for something small, missing someone. Eleanor does this looking out at Bob's garden. Some mornings the answer is heavier than others. She does not try to fix the answer. She just names it, quietly, privately, honestly. And then she gets up and makes her coffee. What she told her daughter about this habit. I spent 2 years pretending I was fine every morning. The day I stopped pretending, even just to myself, is the day the mornings started to feel like mine again. Pairing social habits and morning movement with honest emotional acknowledgement is one of the most effective combinations research identifies for reducing loneliness and building daily resilience in older adults. 60 seconds, 1 honest answer. Then the day begins. There are still 2 chairs at Eleanor's kitchen table. She has not moved the second one, but she sits in her own chair now, every morning, with her coffee, before the man with the Beagle walks past. She always waves first. 5 habits. None of them dramatic, none of them requiring anything you do not already have. Just 5 things done before 9 a.m., consistently, honestly, in your own time. Eleanor is not finished grieving. She will probably tell you she never will be completely, but she is no longer dreading the mornings. And that, for now, is everything. Subscribe if this found you at the right moment today, and share it with someone whose mornings could use a little more of this. We will see you next week. Take care of yourself.